Russia vs. Ukraine military power comparison, army and weapon. According to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, which tracks global arms trade, in a head-to-head comparison of the military capabilities of the two nations, Russia outnumbers Ukraine in almost every aspect. According to Global Firepower, which has been analyzing the military capabilities of countries across the world since 2006, while Russia is the second most powerful country militarily, Ukraine is ranked 22 out of 140 nations. Personnel and equipment compared. Russia has nearly 850,000 active personnel, which is more than 3 times 250,000 for Ukraine. In terms of air power, Russia has more than 4,100 aircraft, with 772 fighters, while Ukraine only has 318 total aircraft, with just 69 fighter aircraft. Similarly, in terms of ground forces, Russia has around 12,500 tanks and more than 30,000 armored vehicles, while Ukraine only has around 2,600 tanks and 12,000 armored vehicles. While Russia has around 14,000 towed and self-propelled artillery guns, Ukraine's total number is just over 3,000. Although navies are unlikely to make any direct contact in this conflict, still, Russia has more than 600 naval vessels, including one aircraft carrier, compared to the total 38 naval vessels with Ukraine. For stealth capabilities in the sea, Russia has 70 submarines, to 0 for Ukraine. Missiles and help from the West. Ukraine had been arming itself with anti-tank missiles taken from the US, though. Hundreds of the Javelin missiles have been given to Ukraine since December, which will help Ukrainian troops to target Russian tanks. It is a man-portable fire-and-forget anti-tank missile, which means that a soldier can fire it from his shoulder, and its automatic infrared guidance system will target the tanks from above, which is the weakest part of any tank. Ukraine's defense minister Oleksiy Reznikov had been tweeting the incoming military supplies from various Western powers, which apart from the Javelin missiles also included the man-portable surface-to-air Stinger missiles, tons of ammunition, rifles, machine guns with optical sights, night vision and surveillance systems, and other military equipment. On February 11 Reznikov had tweeted the arrival of 90 tons of U.S. ammunition, which, he said, had taken the total military aid by then to over 1,300 tons. According to the New York Times, the U.S. has committed over $2.7 billion to Ukraine in security assistance since 2014, including a $200 million package in December comprising equipment like Javelin and other anti-armor systems, grenade launchers, large quantities of artillery, mortars and small arms ammunition. But now that Russia's invasion has begun, all of these will barely matter, considering Russia's military supremacy over its much smaller western neighbor. Nuclear weapons of Ukraine. Although Ukraine does not possess nuclear weapons today, it did have approximately 5,000 nuclear weapons back in the day. Ukraine was once a part of the Soviet Union before 1991, explaining this situation. As a consequence of its dissolution, all the satellites and states that had been forcibly attached to the USSR received several warheads. The Soviet Union had owned them previously. Ukraine, however, received everything that belonged to the USSR after it became independent, including nuclear weapons. Due to this, Ukraine became the third largest nuclear weapon holder globally. Nuclear weapons of Russia. As far as researching, developing, and storing nuclear weapons, this is the second most crucial state. Russians could catch up with Americans later, but it wasn't until 1949 that the USSR conducted its first nuclear test. Western powers also found it surprising, as they believed that Russia would not be able to produce nuclear warheads until the 1950s or early 1960s. After the initial test was conducted, the number of warheads was increased immediately. In the 1980s, the Soviet Union was the most significant power in warhead storage. it stored nearly 40,000 weapons. As a nation that conducted over 700 nuclear weapons tests, Russia is considered the second most important in nuclear weapons development. Like the United States, Russia now has 6,490 warheads, which is hardly more than the United States. Similarly, there are 1,600 deployed warheads compared to 1,600 in the American case. In reality, the world's largest bomb is the Russian-made giant bomb. The blast yield was 50 megatons of TNT, known as Tsar Bomba. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe.